This Channergy tutorial covers adding a product to inventory. Start from the main menu by clicking the inventory button. You can click add a product, but we're just going to jump into inventory because you'll probably do that more often. And this is going to take you to your first product. And then right up here you can click new. Let's take a look at an existing one to give ourselves a little bit of head start. So this is the product number, and that can be anything you like. Your own number, UPC code, doesn't matter. There's a longer, easier to read name field. Both of these, or either one, can be shown on pick list, packing list, emails, work orders. You control that. There's a short description of about 250 characters, an unlimited length long description. We'll jump into the rest of this when we add the product. There's also 4 price levels. We can do quantity discounts. We can store the weight. Under stock levels, we're going to track how many we have, either just as a straight number, or we'll use the multiple locations feature if you have multiple warehouses or use drop shippers, etc. And then we'll get into attachments and suppliers. Assemblies is covered in another tutorial. They're called kits as well. That's probably how you would know them. All right, so let's get started. If I click new, I'm ready to key in a new product, and I'm just going to call it something clever like test. Again, that could be a UPC code, and we'll look at UPC codes later on the product level because you can have multiples and it doesn't matter which one you scan. It's going to revert it back to this product number. The name can be "This is a test." The description can be "Very nice test." Nothing fancy here. The long description is typically plain text. You can put in HTML. We don't recommend it. There's other ways to manage that. We can cover that in another tutorial. Now, this is typically what you would show on a web page, like your shopping cart. It could also be useful on various documents, or if you want to send information to a customer. Order message is typically upsell and cross-sell information because operators can see it during order entry. So it could remind them to add batteries to this or include a specific product number. You can also use assemblies to add products. We cover that in the kits tutorial, so they're automatically added. So this is more of a visual indicator, a cue to your operators. Now you can have a supplier assigned to a product, and you may want to assign one here as just your main or primary supplier, but you're going to use the suppliers tab to really create detail about your suppliers. Down here you can click plus to add a new supplier. Up here, choose a supplier you've created. You can add suppliers up here in setup. So if you don't have a supplier already, click suppliers. It's self-explanatory. Add the supplier, and then they'll be available from the pull down as a name. They will have a different product number almost all the time. And this is a case where if a supplier gives you this as a barcode and you scan it, we'll revert it back to this product number, so you don't have to worry about which barcode you're scanning during order entry, when you're picking and packing, if you're doing serial numbers, receiving inventory, etc. The price would be what you pay for it from the vendor. And then unit of measure, if you need that, maybe you buy it by the case or each, etc. You could break those out during receive inventory. We'll cover that in those tutorials. So for example, if you get a case of 12, you could convert that to 12 items at receive inventory. Minimum quantity might be the minimum you need to buy from a vendor. Could also be the minimum that you need to buy to get a discount. Breakdown is kind of what we were talking about with the unit of measure. If you need that, like a 12 here might indicate that that's a case, and then we could use that to calculate out. But there's an easier way at receive inventory to do it manually if you like, so you have both options. If you get a % discount, maybe with that minimum number, there you go. When we create a PO, you'll see that % discount apply, and we can apply different logic to POs when we create them as well. So they're more intelligent than just based on reorder quantities and these numbers. But these give us the basics for the scripting to allow it to do more in-depth and complex things. Discount amount could be a dollar amount. Manufacturer ID would be the if it's from a vendor who's selling somebody else's product. This would be the ID that's assigned to that. So that's a common thing and might be useful for you. The description is probably the same as yours, but it doesn't matter. It could be something else from the vendor. And then if you like, you can create additional vendors. You have as many as you want. You can have the same vendor in here multiple times. Maybe they have different product numbers, or you can get them in different quantities, etc. So that's okay as well. Now jumping back to the product, these types, again, you can set them up here. So if you want to create some product types and then pull them down, this is a cell phone database. I'm going to make this particular item an let's make it an accessory. This is useful when you're filtering on searches. So if I want to see how many accessories I sold in a given month, I can do that, or how many I sold on Amazon. Those are report options for that. But on a search, it's just used to reduce the universe that you're looking at. So your operators during order entry are just looking at accessories when they pull that down. We'll talk about subproducts in a separate tutorial. That's like size, color, various options. And when you create those, there's a tool in Channergy that you can create thousands at a time, or we can import them in. You'll have a master code, potentially option text, which you'll see in like the custom description where it will give you the size and color in English, for example. If you want to create instructions, this is going to show up on the invoice, packing list, email to customer. So typically it's things like instructions for the product, but it could be anything you want. It shows up with the item on those particular documents and emails, and it's editable at order entry, or if you leave it blank, an operator can type it at order entry. Customized fields are more specific. For example, we've created one called personalize. You can create up to 20 fields and name them whatever you like, give them whatever length you want. They can be different types, but really just text or checkbox. And text would be something that you would type. So if I want it to be, let's make the note field up here a text one that already exists. It's a 20-character field. So when you add this product to the order, the operator will be prompted to put in the note and will automatically pull the first name and the phone. It's nice if you need discrete fields, if you monogram or personalized products, that kind of thing. We're not going to assign one to this product, just keep it simple. Then you need a price. You could get away with just a retail price. You can also have prices at all the levels. These prices typically only affect keyed orders. So for example, if John Smith is a wholesale customer, he would automatically get a $4 price when you key an order. On the web, the price that you list at is different. That's under these various tabs that we'll cover in a little bit. But those prices don't have to be these. By default, we use a retail price, but you can change it. Also, within each one of these, you can have quantity discounts. So, obviously 1 to 5 is going to be at the full price. So you would start this at maybe 6 to 10, and say the price there is $4.50, etc. As many as you want. You can do one for each price level. That means that if I buy 6 of these, I'll get a $4.50 price instead of $5 price. You can also have multiple products share with the same mix and match code. So any products have that 1, 2, 3 code, we'd still get that 6-point break no matter how many you sold of each, 2 of one, 4 of the other, etc. By source key is a discounting by advertising source keys, so we'll cover that and add source keys. But the short of it is you can make individual products on an order discounted, not the whole order, with a key. Price floor would be the lowest you would allow your operators to discount this product to if you allow them to discount at order entry. Map is just that. We don't do anything with it right now, but it's useful to store it in case you want to use it. Maybe you don't want to sell below map on Amazon. The weight is stored in decimals, so if you can't figure it out, there's a little calculator to help you with that. But it's pretty easy. It's in eighths, so you'll get used to it quickly. We'll push the weight to your shipping software so that you don't have to weigh the packages when you fill them for certain items. It's useful for single-packed items. Multi-packed items can be done as well. Typically, the assembly is good for that too, so see the kits tutorial. And other items typically have to be weighed, but we can help you learn those over time, reduce the amount of weighing you do, automate your shipping with that. Maybe this is a large item. If you want to have an extra charge, we'll push that to the shipping software. We can track your cost. This is as opposed to the order level cost. We know the actual product cost. That's good for reporting. When you key an order, we can calculate and add insurance if you like, and you can set up how that's calculated up here in Preferences. Under the Orders tab, you'll see Special Items, and within that you can calculate what your insurance would be. We can use your rate. And there's some other details that you can put in here. This is something to visit when you have a chance. You can also have a hazmat code pushed to your shipping software. If you have those kinds of items, you can indicate an item ships in its own box, and we'll tell the shipping software that, or at box scanning when you fulfill, we'll do that so you don't put it in with something else. And then you can store dimensional weight as well. If we have your factor, when we set you up, or if you want to do it at any time, we can calculate at order entry or just cross all your orders what your dimensional weight shipping would be, compare it to the physical weight if that's an option, and let you choose the lesser of the two, of course. Stock levels is where you keep track of quantities. Again, we could just make this a number, 5. You can also make it non-inventory, which means it's not tracked. You can sell it endlessly. We won't worry about it. You typically do that for items you don't care about. Maybe you sell washers and you have thousands of them. It's also for things that aren't real, like discounts or messages that you want to add to orders. I will come up to multiple locations in a minute. You can discount or discontinue an item. Typically, if you do that, you want to say do not allow back orders. So when this gets down to 0, you won't keep trying to sell it. However, we do have a substitution feature, and with that, if this is out of stock or gone forever, you can substitute it with something else in your inventory. If that's not available, something else, up to 3. An operator can be prompted at order entry if you like, which is useful if this is a replacement similar product, or you don't prompt them if you just change the product number and you don't want the operator to know or worry about it, nor the customer. So they add this, but it automatically pops in the substitution. Substitutions can also work with imported orders. So if a customer orders this and it happens to be out of stock, there will be a date and a quantity here of items coming in based on your purchase orders created in Channergy. So an email, also an operator order entry, can see that. An email would say, we're out of stock on this. We expect more in on the 15th, or you can have this product right now. Which would you prefer? So it's very proactive. Customers are less likely to be upset if you immediately email them instead of waiting a few days or something to tell them that it's in back order. And you can move merchandise that's similar. All right, moving on. We'll uncheck these and go to the multiple locations. So with multiple locations, you can create your own physical locations. Again, you do that in setup. And for each one, you can indicate how many you have in stock. You can also put a preference on it. I want to pull from that first. You can have more if you want. Just create another one here. And how many you have there. Now I'm updating these manually. Typically, you would update these at Receive Inventory. So again, look at the Receive Inventory tutorial to show you how to receive items into various locations. There's some other things you can do here. Just like we did here, you can make an item non-inventory. Typically, again, either something you don't care about, or that's a great thing to use with drop shippers. So if I want to add a drop shipper as one of my locations, I can. So I have one set up here. And if I don't know their stock, I would typically say either non-inventory, which means that they have an endless supply, or I would come up with a number that is safe, or you can import their numbers. Maybe they say they have 100. You can also dumb that down. If they have 100 but they have other customers, maybe you only want to commit 25 of them. So on the import you can do that. And that could be first, second, third, etc. When a drop ship item comes in and you have to mark it drop ship here, it'll get marked on the order as drop ship. So it'll be DCM, drop ship committed, and you can create a drop ship PO right there on the order, or you can do it in mass and it can be automated. If the drop shipper is sophisticated enough, it can be fully automated to send them the order, get the reply when they come back, update the order in Channergy that it's shipped, send the tracking number to the customer, and close the order. So again, depending on their level of sophistication, you can partially or fully automate the process. And then for each location, you can do things like make it not available for sale. That could be handy if you have a location where you're storing things that you don't want to sell, but you want to track them. If you do lots, we could track lot numbers with expiration dates and notes. Again, you'll probably collect that information at Receive Inventory. When you sell items, we'll track what items sold on what orders. So if you need to recall a lot, you can do that. If you've got stuff expiring in storage, you can flash sale that or dump it or donate it. Whatever you do here is going to roll up to the total available to sell, so now we have 45. And when your operators enter orders, it'll automatically pull from each of those locations in order, but they have the ability to change which location it's coming from if you want them to. So maybe they want to drop ship something because everything else on the order is drop ships, rather than have it pull from your warehouse. So you have that level of control. Moving down, extra fields are just that. There's 5 custom fields you can rename in preferences, so they'll change what shows here. The first 4 are not searchable, but they do show up during a product search, so your operators can see that, so it's quick information for them. This bin number, by the way, is useful if you don't use multiple locations, or you can use it in conjunction with for pick lists and work orders, etc. when you go to pick and pack. We store an ISBN if you sell books. You can store up to 3 UPC codes, and again, if you scan a UPC code or the product number that you create, and you can create barcodes when you receive inventory and put them on your products, or the supplier barcode, which is again on the supplier tab that we saw over here earlier. Doesn't matter which one you scan, and we'll resolve it back to that product number, so your people don't have to worry about which one they're looking at. These are redundant. They're on the suppliers tab. If you sell out of the country, we do things like duty percent, preferred currency, etc. So you can specify all of this. You do have to set it up. And then if you have commissionable or royalty items, checking this would work with reports to pay through commissions to vendors or to your reps, etc. You can also have a preferred ship method on this. Maybe it always goes UPS ground. We have, again, logic at the order level where we can specify the best shipping method, and this would be one of the criteria we'd look at. Okay, this goes UPS ground. Let's look at that first. These other items, backorder messages, are just that. You can have a unit of measure here like we did on the supplier tab, so maybe you sell this by the case. You can have URLs that you put in here for pushing up to your various channels, so if they need that rather than a physical image, you can. Again, extra fields are just that. Some of these can be used in multiple ways. Certainly talk to us if you have any questions about it. If you have serialized inventory, you can make any product serialized, and you can collect that information, that serial number, when you receive inventory and create a pool if you want to, or you could skip that and just add a serial number when you pick and pack. And again, on fulfillment, we can show you where that happens. You can make any product a gift certificate, but we'll visit that later. And there's some other options here. A reorder at would be when I get down to a certain level, I want to order some more, what price do I want to pay for it? And again, we can create POs, either manually give you a report and tell you what to do based on the report results, or just automatically create a PO that you can edit. So check out the PO tutorials. Again, this will show what's coming in. There's nothing on this one yet. We're just creating it. But as we create POs, this will start updating. You can give this a cost. This would be for cost of goods sold, cost of goods in stock, etc. We can also calculate an average cost. So as you receive inventory, if you get 100 at $1, your average is $1. You get another 100 at $2, your average is $1.50. And then we'll keep track at the item level what's sold. So we know when you sold it for $1 and when you sold it for $2 as cost. All right, again, assemblies is covered in a different tutorial. We did suppliers. Finally, you can have attachments at the product level, and this can be images, Word docs, PDF docs, web pages, etc. So if I wanted to add one, I can click plus, come up here. Let's do that. And we'll add a picture. So you click the plus and then you come here. We'll just pick a random picture. And images will show up in the interface. Again, other things will be openable in their native programs. Your operators can see this during order entry. So that's how our product exists in Channergy. The next step is getting it on various channels, which we'll cover in the next tutorial. But just quickly, you can create listings on Amazon, eBay, your own web store. There's other marketplaces, so a lot of places that you can create listings, all with different prices and quantities.